from the regulator where you say that, okay, this is the range, only in this range you can quote. No. So it's customizable depending on risk. So you might also see a policy for 1 crore at 10 lakh rupees. So, and you might also see a policy for 1 crore of liability at 1 lakh of rupees or 50,000 rupees. So it all depends on what nature of services you have.
So most of the time what I've seen is that policy coverage in India is about 3 to 4 times more expensive than the US.
Okay. On liability then?
On liability.
Okay.
Is it because it's not a well understood product and there are not too many people buying the cover? So as the pool expands, the risk, the exposure will come down. Is that the main reason, or at least 3 to 4 times?
Yeah.
I buy insurance from Hartford in the US, similar cover, यहाँ पे 6 times.
So basically, what you said is right, sir. They have law of large numbers. I'll give you some numbers on the liability insurance industry at this moment. So the industry has 30 general insurance players, out of which we are the top 3. We are among the top 3 players. And what happens is the industry is now soft. In fact, in terms of premiums, it is very, very cheap. That's what a lot of my foreign colleagues tell me. The second part is, yes, the book is not that big as US. So the total liability insurance premium size would be nothing more than 1,500 crore. And in the country of 125 crore, we have only 1,500 crore book, which is very, very small. So if I have to give you the kind of documents I issue on liability, I issue more than 10,000 documents a year. But again, they are predominantly coming from only metro cities like Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, and so on. And though there is a risk to mofussil towns and small-scale industries, people still not making that buying decision. But yes, in times to come, when we get digitized and we do a lot of contracts with foreign companies, this will soften further. But on the contrary, in the US, you will see that the claims on liability policies are the highest.
Yep.
Whereas if you look at in India, they are not to that extent. Though we have paid and some other competitors have paid, but not to a level where it is at a stage where everybody who is buying a policy is aware how to claim. So that's also an education part, a social part, which we are helping our clientele with, that you should buy what suits you. Just because somebody is insisting that you should have A, B, C policies, does it really help you to cover your risks in your business or not? I think that is where the gap is. So from our side, we can suggest you that if you don't need this policy in the liability scope, let's not look at it. But then if you look at a management liability policy or a cyber policy or a crime policy, as a package, you should have all of them. But only when you are exposed to those risks. If you're not exposed to the risk, it's probably look at a small limit policy for a management liability, and then build your risk portfolio over a period of time when you develop into a larger organization.
I would say that errors and omissions is something that everybody should get in any case, because
yes.
You might have the best kind of procedures in place internally, but like you said, management liability and errors and omissions. वो तो आपको हिंदुस्तान के लिए भी करना चाहिए, even if you're not working overseas.
Errors and omissions में आपको मैं बोलूँ sir कि the largest IT companies, I lead their programs. So they buy limits worth $200 million, $300 million, because their turnover is, let's say, 45,000 crores, out of which, let's say, 50% is coming from the USA. They are servicing, let's say, top banks in the USA or top healthcare companies in the USA. Now, such companies have no choice but to buy. And if they don't buy...
You are saying from a contractual obligation perspective.
Otherwise,
I'm
also,
saying just from risk to your business.
Of course.
अगर आपके ऑफिस से कोई डेटा चुरा के ले जाता है और लोकल कंपनी भी आपको सू कर देती है, they can sue the pants of your business and your business will shut down if you do not have liability protection.
Of course, sir, of course.
So, the errors and omissions and
management
liability,
very critical.
I think those two are very critical, even if you are just servicing domestic customers.
No, I completely understand, and we trying our best to educate our clientele. So what we do is on our entire non-motor portfolio, which is for fire, engineering and marine, we generally do all these activities to educate our clients about the new age liability risks also. So if you wish to have another round of any policy presentations in terms of documents and everything, Sahil and Rohit can get in touch with you, sir, and we can further build that knowledge up to see if there is anything that we can do and customize for you.
I think our interest in having you guys here was that we look at all of the the bigger both opportunities in IPR and risks with the new regulatory regimes.
True.
And look at insurance as one way of protecting yourself.
So in IPR, I must tell you, sir, in the normal errors and omissions policy, there is an extension for IPR,
Yes.
which says that if you are alleged for breaching into somebody's IPR, the policy will help you defend it. That is a already available cover under our errors and omissions form. The second part of it, yeah.
There's a, I dealt with it with,
Okay.
there's an exclusion under the normal errors and omission policy
Okay.
for IPR, 9A and 9B.
So basically,
So, can you just...
I'll just help you with that. So basically the two parts of IPR, when again I was waiting for you guys are outside when I started. So intellectual property rights cover operates both on a defensive basis and on an offensive basis. So when it's a defensive basis, the policy picks it up. The latest errors and omissions form or the professional indemnity form will help you to defend yourself when you breach into somebody's rights. Okay? And that's a standard cover available under a professional indemnity policy or a errors and omissions policy. When we talk about you want to sue somebody for breaching into your IPR, that is a separate form altogether which is available in the international market, which is called as intellectual property rights insurance, and it is available in the reinsurance market. Right now at Bajaj Allianz, we are only using that endorsement in the errors and omissions form for defensive part of it and not for the offensive part of it. But on a global scale, there is a separate insurance policy which is called as intellectual property rights insurance, which covers you for both offensive as well as defensive part of it. Do you have questions on that?
Yeah. So, if I look at it on the other side, that gives me a license that I can infringe anybody's IPR and you'll defend me.
So, yeah, and now the policy says if it is negligent, it can't be willful, malified or intentional. So I am saying that if I am a, let's give it organization, and let's say I had no clue of what that IPR is all about, and then by mistake or negligence, while doing my normal course of business, so I'll give you a very classic example of this, I don't know, I can show you that video or not right now, but there was this movie called as Dirty Picture which released a few years back, where this song called Ooh La La, Ooh La La, you heard that song?
Yes.
Now honestly, there has been a 2 crore claim on Balaji Telefilms around it, where there was this movie in 1980 which had Jitendra and Jayaprada, where the same tune was used, and now the erstwhile person who would who had written that tune had sued Balaji Telefilms for a 2 crore rupees IPR, and they have amicably then settled. So there are many such cases. Now, this is very prominent because we use this as a case study. But again, when I go to a lot of clientele, most of them think that okay, I only want to safeguard myself against anything that will be taken from me, away from me. Not about by mistake. So if you are an organization of let's say 500 people, you are at risk while you are doing a normal course of business that you breach into somebody's intellectual property rights. And then you will have to defend that. That cover is available in the errors and omissions policy. That cover is available in your normal professional indemnity policy also. Now how can that help? It can help who all? It can help architects, it can help engineers, it can help software engineers, it can help financial service advisors, it can help anybody who's any kind of service providing organization. This particular resolutions, like you said, sir, is very, very critical to have. So I'll give you a simple example of doctors also, doctors' professional indemnity, where doctors generally never get sued is what we think. But if you look at large hospitals across the country, there are claims of crores and crores of rupees pending against hospitals for negligent treatment that they have offered. Now, these patients do get compensations and it's amicably settled, but there is a form which helps you to cover yourself as a hospital or as a doctor where you might go negligent. So all kinds of professions can be looked at. So recently we also did a professional indemnity policy for the largest metro train project which is coming across in Mumbai, which starts from RA Colony and goes till Cuff Parade. So it's all underground. Now while you're doing those services, you might be negligent and you might cause somebody some loss. That is what the scope of the policy is. So in that also IPR is an extension provided for defensive part of it and not the offensive part. Anything else?
So one more part
Yes.
I would want you to address is the importance, since you're at the front end, the importance of filling up the proposal form honestly. If you could just take that up, because that could be a grounds for...
So my common plight as an underwriter is that I never get the proposal form filled, and either the date is not correct or the signature is not appropriate, or probably the details that I asked for are not there in order. Honestly, a proposal form is more like an application form basis of which a policy will be designed. Now when we look at a normal standard policy like a motor policy or a health policy, there are standard coverages, standard exclusions, and we take the proposal form signed from the customer and so on. But in the liability policy, that document becomes very, very valid in the court of law, because that is the basis of which the insurance company is going to customize or devise an insurance solution for you. So I can't reiterate more on the importance of declarations on the proposal form, and there is nothing to get probably worried about if I declare that I had a situation of IPR or I had a situation of a breach at my office. It also gives a lot of comfort to the underwriter to let you know that okay, how can we avoid this situation, because nobody likes claims. And nobody wants to get into a situation of debate that you have not declared this and that's why the claim is not being paid. But at the same time, I must tell you that this culture has to come up where we have to fill in all information in the proposal form, which gives the document a lot of transparency. So if your proposal form is incorrect, the document would not address your risk correctly. And it is also about liability, because liability is more customizable than any other product right now. So in standard tariff products, it is all good in like motor policies and so on. But in liabilities, yes, it is very, very important, because I will tell you, we have 20 odd law firms working for us. The common plight that they have is that of course we have to be representing either the client or Bajaj Allianz in either defending from a claim against a third party. And when the third party picks up, all the situations of negligence, you have to have point-wise answer to that. So your proposal form, your nature of services, what kind of sectors you address, comes in handy when you want to defend against any such liabilities. So I can't emphasize more on that.
That's very important. I think proposal form actually is very important, because it to give it honestly also safeguards you later on when, if you're for any reason the insurance company comes back and says it's not payable. So if you've done it honestly, then it's helpful.
So basically, the moment the premium is collected, the company is on the risk, if I have to say so, because India is a cash before cover country. We are not a cash after cover country. So Indian rule says that 64BB compliance says that only when you receive the premium, the cover will start for a customer. Whereas some countries in Africa have no such situation. But here, it is a very clear rule. You had a question, sir?
Yeah, my question was more around, I'm just forgetting what the, I think the role that your broker plays in helping you choose the kind of cover, given that this is a nascent area, right? So, I mean, your broker here actually is very important, sometimes even more important than the company in choosing the product. But lots of time people choose the wrong product. And like, I mean, your deck was very useful and informative. But when we went through our journey, we found that getting somebody in the middle who understands our business well enough to propose the right and looks at our contracts. Because, for example, lots of the overseas contracts we get have a strong, big section on auto liability cover, which is, for example, US में वो काफी जरूरी है, because if somebody is driving to folks' offices to deliver services, then the third party, the customer does not want to be saddled with cover. So they would insist on $500,000 cover or something like that. हमारे कोई जा ही नहीं रहा वहाँ से, cover यहाँ से ले रहे हैं, वो cover लेने का कोई point नहीं.
नहीं, जो आप बोल रहे हो सही है sir. In fact, I must tell you some numbers on how the business in India is operating. So more than 70% of the business placed with insurance company under liability insurance is through brokers. So yes, they have developed that acumen, and there are Indian companies, there are multinationals, there is a huge number of broking fraternity who is feeding a lot of information to the insurance companies, and then they provide solutions based on the information provided by the brokers. So it also gives us a lot of comfort, and at Bajaj Allianz we work with all brokers across the country, and they definitely get to us with a lot of slips and submissions. And I must tell you that yes, we are in the top 3 companies who service liability insurance, and number of policies that we've written is obviously more than a couple of players who are ahead of us in terms of numbers also, because we do a lot of small and medium enterprises as well. So what I would suggest is you can also choose the broker by looking at their credentials also. So you can obviously probably ask them to give their experience in terms of how many liability policies have they placed in the past, in which all insurance companies, what all kinds of clients do you lead, and that's your choice completely. For us, we are okay to work with brokers, agents, direct clients, bank assurance partners, and anybody who gets us any kind of lead to work on a proposal which is around liability. So we have a very fair approach there, and I'm thankful to the broker community also, because they're doing a lot of knowledge series and sharing with a lot of clients. So that way, yes, they have gained a lot of knowledge, and they have conducted a lot of awareness in various sectors. So yes, choosing a broker is up to your prerogative, sir, and we would be with you on that. No, that shouldn't be a problem.
One question was that when it comes to defending, so one of the challenges is, if you look at overseas contracts, right, engaging law firms overseas, do you guys have a panel that you maintain?
So what we do is, sir, we have a panel in India, and we also have Allianz, who has various associated law firms who are there. And I must also tell you that law firms also have certain charges which are borne by the policy within the policy limits.
Right.
So at this moment, I have looked at a situation where we employed a law firm from Singapore, and of course the charges are all inbuilt, but yes, they come at a definite cost which eradicates your policy limit. So that is something which is a major component of any liability claim, because yes, lawyers are expensive.
So you do have an empaneled...
No offense, sir.
So you do have an empaneled set of lawyers available?
So we have a panel which is with our claims team, and that is from India, and we have a panel which is there out of Munich and London and Singapore also, which is with Allianz.
So does Allianz have presence in the US?
Yes, they do have a presence in US, and I can get you the contacts of that also, not a problem. So Allianz, basically, again, I must tell you, is a very traditional company, and they have a lot of presence across the country, almost 83 countries that I have a list of, and US also very strong. So whenever we've dealt with a lot of international clients to the tune of, if you talk about the large IT firms, I participate and I lead most of their programs for cyber, aerosol missions and management liability. So I personally traveled with them to a lot of events in Singapore and London for understanding what kind of coverages are available and what kind of solutions can we offer for you. Can we derive something from London or New York to India to help this customer? So that all is there, and the regulator is quite open about customization, so that is not a problem. Any other question?
So one more.
Yes, sir.
I'm just trying to flag certain issues. These come up in policies. Most policies have any one event or any one year kind of information. Could you throw some light on that?
So basically it is just the way the policy form is in liability. Any one accident and any one year means that, let's say I want a 1:3 ka policy. So let's say I take 1 crore any one accident and 3 crore any one year. So I can have 3 claims of 1 crore, I can have 4 claims or 5 claims. There's no cap on the number of claims. But you can say in that policy when we define, per claim you won't get more than 1 crore and total in a year you won't get more than 3 crores. That's pretty much simple understanding of what is AOA and AOY. And I generally prefer my clients taking, AOA is to AOY, 1:2 or 1:3 because then you have opportunity left. If you take any one accident and any one year at 1:1, then what if you have a large claim? And then, you just, what if there is 2, 3, 4 small claims which you want to, probably, file with the insurance company. But it depends on your choice. It is just the way the liability forms are.
I want to ask you.
Yes, sir.
In AOY and AOA, if we have a 1 crore limit and a 3 crore limit of the year,
Okay.
so the number of claims you said were...
Could be anything.
Could be anything. It's
Yes.
not like a 3 claim rule.
No. There is no capping on the claim.
So it's just the capping on the
Limit.
limit.
Yes. Any other questions?
If it is a 1:1, then it will be one accident also.
No, it could be, 2, 3 claims, but the maximum that will be paid, or 5 claims, or 10 claims that can happen. But let's say you take 1 crore is to 1 crore. The maximum that will be paid will be 1 crore in the policy as a AOI.
But it will be also reported claim could be just one?
No, it can be many claims. No, you can have 5 lakh rupees ka claim, 10 lakh rupees ka claim, or 20 lakh rupees ka claim. As long as your maximum limit of indemnity does not get eradicated.
For the year.
Yes, for it.
One more thing about reinsurance. Does the reinsurer settle the claim eventually, or is it?
So interesting question, sir. So basically, reinsurance is there to safeguard you for a large catastrophe. And most of the insurance companies, at the size of Bajaj Allianz, we don't need reinsurance till up to 5 to 10 crores of payments. And of course, there is a reinsurance session. The industry is such where all the risks picked up on a global level also get placed through a reinsurance. And then reinsurance also have a pool and then they place it. So insurance is a law of distribution of risks and law of large numbers. So yes, a lot of reinsurers, in fact, if you look at GIC, which is our domestic reinsurer, it's the 10th reinsurer in the world. The first half results, they have already crossed a premium of 50,000 crores across the world. So reinsurance is a very, very integral part of any corporate business like liability or property or marine or engineering. And not a single insurance company in this world would want to keep everything on their books. They would want to pay a certain part of that premium to the reinsurer and get protection also. So it's a common business, and reinsurer, in fact, if you look at Allianz or Munich Re or Swiss Re or AIG, these are all large reinsurance companies. Of course, they do a lot of direct insurance business also. But reinsurance is, integral part of the insurance business.
Any questions?
I just want to add to the liability side of the policies that in spite of the normal wordings, there are a lot of extensions that are available which can be extended as per the business aspect of the company, and then the sublimits can be applied on those extensions to help in the risk scenario of that company.
True, sir, true. So it's customizable.
And
So
also, one more very important part that probably you could is what about exclusions? A lot of times you've got to see exclusions, and if any of those exclusions hit your business specifically, I mean, is that something that you
So there's an option of probably making an exclusion into an inclusion, if it is possible, which is called as a carve back. But there are certain standard exclusions also, like willful misconduct or probably a malified intention or deliberate thing. We are not above the law of the land as insurance company also. So anything which is probably to your nature of business, like let's say you say that, okay, I want a bodily injury carve back in my TiE policy because I don't want to have a exclusion there. Then we can obviously look at carve back considering what is your nature of operation. So exclusions are the most important part again whenever you look at your insurance policy document. First read the exclusions, and that's my suggestion as an underwriter, because it's a documentary contract. It is not a relationship between a family. So whenever you do any kind of policy for yourself, first and foremost thing you should do is look at the exclusions and see how are they going to affect you. I'm telling this openly because as an underwriter, I have seen many situations where clients have assumed that, okay, this particular thing is covered under the policy, and unfortunately that is an exclusion. So rather than having a situation at the time of a claim, I would recommend read through the policy document, look through the exclusion. So what happens generally, and this is a common practice across various industries where I've sold n number of policies, is that the insurance policy is purchased, put up in a file, and it's put up in a drawer. And then unfortunately when a situation of claim happens, only then the contract is being read. So why wait for a situation of a claim? When we have a document there, let's make an Excel sheet around it, let's understand what are the risks covered, what are the not covered risks. Have a chat with the broker, have a chat with the insurance company, and see that if you can get some of that covered as well.
a lot of times when you're selling, the agent would come or somebody would come without prejudice. I've seen this in across instances. The broker or the person who's selling it, and like the insurance company representative, मैं बैठा हूँ ना, मैं करवा दूँगा. But when it comes to handling it, there's a separate department.
Then there is somebody else.
So
I haven't seen that in my experience with liability insurance. I've been pleasantly surprised with. That's why the reason I brought up the broker point, because it's a complex product, and whereas insurance agents with the regular motor life, that's the kind of stuff you hear.
yeah,
They are more often.
it happens in the sarkari kind of companies, where
Liability.
yeah,
Sir, I would-
not in liability insurance.
Yeah, so I must tell you, sir, that as an industry, it's a stigma on us that mis-selling does happen, but then we have to probably be vigilant
So
more.
that's why education and
Yeah, of
sessions
course,
like
of course,
this
of
is
course.
important.
So see, the worst thing that happens in a situation where there is a grievance is somebody who's underwritten the policy looks ugly in front of the client, in front of the broker, in front of his own insurance company. So the underwriter who's underwritten the policy looks very bad. So our jobs are the worst when a claim happens. But if at all a claim happens smoothly also, I think that is also our credit then. Because then we've designed the policy understanding the risk. So yes, that is a part of the industry. I wouldn't deny that. But at the same time, it is also a mutual relationship where we can probably discuss more or talk more or get ourselves equipped more with a lot of knowledge on the subject. I think that should solve our gaps. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Do you do contractual level insurance, one, or is it a blanket insurance?
So we can do both, sir. I can do both. So for an errors and omissions policy, I can do a professional's insurance for, let's say he's building a bridge and he wants a professional indemnity policy only for the bridge part. And whereas he's a construction company or an architect who on a blanket basis does 200 projects a year, I can do that as well. So that is okay.
And do you participate in contractual agreement building?
Agreement building in terms of insurance part, I can still help you. But I think a law firm would be appropriate in doing that, because we can help you only till the insurance bit of it.